You think you've seen dominance in WWE? You think you've witnessed destruction? What happened last night makes every single one of those moments look like a kindergarten playground scuffle. Brock Lesnar just reminded the entire wrestling world why he's called the Beast Incarnate, and Bronson Reed, oh man, Bronson Reed might never be the same again. I'm talking about a level of violence, a level of pure, unadulterated brutality that had the entire arena sitting in stunned silence. Grown men were gasping, children were covering their eyes. And if you blinked, if you looked away for even a second, you missed something that will be talked about for years. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to break down will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about professional wrestling and just how far these athletes are willing to go. Let me set the scene for you. The tension had been building for weeks. Bronson Reed, the 290-pound behemoth from Australia, had been on an absolute tear through the WWE roster. He'd been demolishing opponents left and right, hitting tsunamis on anyone who dared step in his path. The man had been unstoppable, untouchable, seemingly invincible. He'd taken out legends, he'd bulldozed through rising stars, and he had the audacity, the sheer audacity, to call out Brock Lesnar. Now, some people called it confidence. Others called it career suicide. But Bronson Reed didn't care. He looked directly into the camera and said he was coming for the beast. He said he was going to prove that there was a new monster in WWE, and Brock Lesnar's time was done. Those words sealed his fate. Brock Lesnar doesn't do social media. He doesn't cut 20-minute promos. He doesn't play mind games on Twitter. When Brock Lesnar has something to say, he says it with his fists, with suplexes, with an intensity that makes your blood run cold. And when he heard what Bronson Reed said, when Paul Heyman whispered those words into his ear backstage, something changed in Brock's eyes. That cocky smirk disappeared. The playful beast vanished. What emerged was something darker, something primal, something that reminded us all why Brock Lesnar has been the most feared competitor in combat sports for over 2 decades. The match wasn't even supposed to happen last night. It was scheduled for next week's premium live event. But Brock Lesnar marched down to Adam Pearce's office and demanded it happen immediately. Not next week. Not tomorrow. Tonight. And when Brock Lesnar makes a demand like that, you don't say no. You don't negotiate. You give him exactly what he wants and pray that the medical team is ready for what's about to unfold. Adam Pearce tried to reason with him, tried to explain that they needed to build it up, that they needed time to promote such a massive encounter. Brock grabbed him by the collar and said 3 words: tonight. Reed. Now. That was it. The match was made. And the entire locker room went silent because they knew what was coming. When Bronson Reed's music hit, the man walked out with all the confidence in the world. He was beating his chest, he was taunting the crowd, he was ready for war. At 290 pounds, Reed is not a small man. He's a legitimate monster who moves like someone 50 pounds lighter. His tsunami splash from the top rope has ended careers. His suplex variations have sent opponents to the hospital. This wasn't some pushover, some jobber being fed to Brock Lesnar. This was a legitimate threat, a man whom many believed could actually hang with the beast. The crowd was electric, chanting Reed's name, ready to see if this Australian powerhouse could do the impossible. Then Brock's music hit. And everything changed. The arena didn't just get loud, it became deafening. That primal scream, that pyro, that unstoppable force of nature bouncing on his toes as he walked down the ramp. But something was different this time. Brock wasn't smiling. He wasn't playing to the crowd. He wasn't doing his usual bouncing warm-up in the ring. He slid under the bottom rope and immediately locked eyes with Bronson Reed, and in that moment, Reed's confidence wavered. Just for a split second, just for a fraction of a moment, you could see it in his eyes. Fear. Raw, unfiltered fear. Because he realized in that instant that he'd awakened something that should have been left alone. The bell rang, and Bronson Reed tried to strike first. He charged at Brock with a thunderous clothesline, the kind that has dropped dozens of opponents. Brock didn't move. Reed hit him again. Nothing. A third clothesline. Brock took one step backward and then, he smiled. Not a friendly smile. Not an entertained smile. A predator's smile. The smile of someone who knows their prey has just exhausted their best option and come up empty. Reed's face went pale. He threw a desperate right hand, and that's when Brock exploded. The first suplex came so fast that the crowd barely had time to register it. German suplex, and Reed was launched across the ring like he weighed nothing. Before Reed could even process what happened, Brock was on him again. Another German suplex. Then another. And another. We're not talking about normal suplexes here. We're talking about Brock Lesnar picking up a 290-pound man and throwing him through the air like a sack of potatoes. 4, 5, 6 German suplexes in a row. The ring was shaking. The crowd was losing their minds. And Bronson Reed was helpless, absolutely helpless to stop the onslaught. Reed tried to roll out of the ring to catch his breath, to regroup, to figure out some kind of strategy. Bad idea. The worst idea. Brock followed him outside, and that's when things went from brutal to absolutely savage. Brock grabbed Reed by the back of the head and launched him shoulder first into the steel steps. The sound echoed through the arena like a gunshot. Medical staff at ringside actually flinched. But Brock wasn't done. He picked Reed up and hit an F5 on the outside, onto the thin mat that barely provides any protection. Reed's body crumpled in a heap, and for a moment, everyone thought it was over. But here's the thing about Bronson Reed: the man has heart. Stupid, stubborn, incredible heart. He somehow managed to crawl back into the ring before the count of 10. He pulled himself up using the ropes, blood now trickling from his mouth, his eyes glazed over but still defiant. He looked at Brock and motioned for him to bring it on. The crowd went absolutely insane. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. This was warrior spirit, this was refusing to quit even when every logical part of your brain is screaming at you to stay down. Brock's expression changed. That predatory smile disappeared, replaced by something that looked almost like respect. For about 2 seconds. Then the Beast decided to show Bronson Reed exactly what happens when you refuse to quit against Brock Lesnar. What followed was the most violent sequence I have ever witnessed in a WWE ring, and I've been watching this company for 15 years. Brock hit 3 consecutive F5s. Not 1, not 2, 3, back to back to back, each one seemingly more devastating than the last. After the third one, Reed wasn't moving. His body was completely limp. The referee was checking on him, considering stopping the match. But Brock waved the referee away. He picked Reed's unconscious body up one more time. The crowd was in shock. People were yelling for someone to stop it. Paul Heyman was on the outside with his hands on his head, even he couldn't believe what he was witnessing. Brock positioned Reed for a 4th F5, and that's when you could hear people screaming no from the audience. But Brock delivered it anyway. The 4th F5. Reed's body hit the mat with a sickening thud, and the arena went completely silent except for the sound of Brock's music starting to play. The match was over. Bronson Reed had been destroyed, decimated, utterly dismantled by Brock Lesnar in under 12 minutes. 12 minutes that felt like an eternity. 12 minutes that will haunt Reed's career forever. Medical staff immediately rushed into the ring as Brock calmly walked up the ramp, not even bothering to look back at the carnage he'd left behind. Paul Heyman was trying to get Brock to celebrate, to soak in the moment, but Brock wasn't interested. He'd made his point. He'd sent his message. And that message was received loud and clear by every single person in that building and everyone watching at home. As EMTs were loading Bronson Reed onto a stretcher, cameras caught a glimpse of the backstage area. Superstars were watching on monitors in complete silence. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Gunther. Every single one of them had the same expression on their face. They'd just been reminded why Brock Lesnar is on a completely different level. Why he's a former UFC heavyweight champion. Why he's conquered WWE multiple times. Why the phrase Beast Incarnate isn't just a nickname, it's a warning label. But here's where the story takes an even more shocking turn. As Reed was being wheeled to the back, as medical personnel were checking his vitals and preparing to transport him to a local medical facility, Brock Lesnar was shown walking through the backstage area. And he wasn't heading to his locker room. He wasn't leaving the building. He was walking toward Adam Pearce's office again. Cameras followed him as he burst through the door without knocking. What was said in that room hasn't been officially confirmed, but sources backstage are reporting that Brock told Pearce he's not done. He wants more matches. He wants anyone who thinks they can step to him. He wants to remind the entire WWE universe why he's been the most dominant force in professional wrestling history. Think about the implications of what just happened. Bronson Reed was being built as an unstoppable monster. He'd been protected, he'd been booked strong, he had momentum that seemed impossible to stop. And in 12 minutes, all of that was erased. Not just defeated, erased. This wasn't a competitive match where both men got their offense in and Brock happened to come out on top. This was a one-sided beating, a public execution, a statement of dominance that will ripple through WWE for months to come. Every singles champion right now just got a little more nervous. Every contender just realized that their path to glory might have to go through Brock Lesnar, and after what we just witnessed, that's a terrifying prospect. Social media absolutely exploded after the match. Wrestling journalists couldn't type fast enough. Former WWE superstars were tweeting in disbelief. MMA fighters were commenting on Brock's intensity. This wasn't just a wrestling story, this was a sports story, an entertainment story, a moment that transcended the normal boundaries of professional wrestling. And if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't witnessed this destruction firsthand, you need to do yourself a favor and watch it immediately. But I'm telling you right now, prepare yourself because what you're about to see is not for the faint of heart. The question everyone is asking now is, what comes next? Bronson Reed's return timeline is uncertain. Reports suggest he's dealing with significant injuries, both physical and to his pride. His entire aura of invincibility has been shattered in one night. Can he recover from this? Can anyone recover from being destroyed by Brock Lesnar in such definitive fashion? History suggests it's possible. John Cena bounced back, CM Punk eventually found redemption, but those recovery stories took years, not weeks or months. And what about Brock? If the rumors are true, if he really is demanding more competition, then every single person on the WWE roster needs to be on high alert. Is he coming for the World Heavyweight Championship? The WWE Championship? Does he want to run through the entire roster just to prove he still can? At his age, with everything he's accomplished, Brock Lesnar has nothing left to prove to anyone. But maybe that's what makes him so dangerous now. He's not fighting for titles or accolades or legacy. He's fighting because he enjoys the destruction. He's fighting because he can. And that's the most terrifying Brock Lesnar of all. If you've made it this far, you understand why this channel exists. We don't just report wrestling news, we break down the moments that define this industry, the matches that become legendary, the stories that people will be talking about decades from now. And trust me when I tell you, this is one of those moments. This is a moment that will be replayed in video packages for years. This is a match that future documentaries will analyze. This is the night Brock Lesnar reminded us all why he's the beast incarnate. I know times are tough and there's so much content out there competing for your attention. Subscribing to channels, hitting notification bells, it all feels like just another thing on your endless to-do list. But if you love wrestling, if you love these moments of pure athletic devastation, if you want to be part of a community that truly appreciates the art of professional wrestling at its highest level, then this channel is for you. We're building something special here at Ring Rumble, a place where real wrestling fans can come together and celebrate this incredible sport we all love. Your subscription isn't just a number to us, it's you choosing to be part of something bigger, a community that lives for these jaw-dropping moments. Drop a comment below and let me know, was this the most dominant performance you've ever seen from Brock Lesnar? Can Bronson Reed ever recover from this? And who do you want to see step up to Brock next? Let's get a discussion going, because wrestling is always better when we can talk about these incredible moments together. And if this video gave you chills, if it made you want to go back and watch the match again, smash that like button and share it with your wrestling fan friends, because they need to see this breakdown. The Beast Incarnate has spoken, and his message was delivered in the most brutal way possible. Welcome to the new era of Brock Lesnar's dominance. Welcome to Ring Rumble.